It's hurricane season, but I understand your point about it being weird that it's hitting SoCal. Yes, hurricanes usually don't hit Southern California, especially not in. I mean, hurricanes don't hit Southern California in August. August is like, this is supposed to be wildfire season. Hurricane's name is Hilary. The all-hazard siren systems can be used for a variety of both natural and human-caused events, including tsunamis, hurricanes, dam breaches, flooding, wildfires, volcanic eruptions, terrorist threats, hazardous materials, and more, according to the Department of Defense Hawaii website. But as far as I understand, I guess they're saying that most of this, as you can see, look, all hazard statewide outdoor warning siren system mostly is about tsunamis. Look, some tsunami awareness, tsunami live. So like they were worried that if they put the warning signs up that people would go into high ground, which is what you're supposed to do, which is what you're geared to do, in an all hazard situation, because that's what you're used to. They're worried that people would have rushed into high ground and the casualties would have been worse, I guess. Basically, when you hear footsteps, think horses, not zebras, for natural disasters. I do still believe that any alarm probably would have been better. I think they're just covering their bases. But yeah, in tsunami areas, they have tsunami evacuation routes with signs on them. So those are the routes people would think of first. Yeah. If you live in an area that is earthquake prone, for example, and there's never any wildfires there, let's say, when you hear the warning sirens, you're going to go rush and hide under like a door frame or under your desk and cover your neck. You're not going to immediately run outside and escape assuming that there's a fire happening, because you're all of the training that you've gone through is for earthquakes. Are you not worried about the hurricane tropical storm at all, though? I am worried about it because, just like we're talking about this, there is no flood prevention in California. The water basin in the LA River is not, what's the term? Is not made out of material that is not made out of material that is supposed to allow the water to escape into the ground. It's not porous. It's not absorbent, which means it will absolutely fucking flood. Then you also have the other problem where the sediment on top of the ground is not used to that level of rainfall, especially at all, but especially not used to that level of rainfall in August. So that will probably cause mudslides, landslides. That's going to be another issue. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, for people that don't know, the LA River is concrete. The bottom of the LA River is all concrete. That's why you see cars driving on it in like movies and shit like that. That's not porous. It's not permeable. Water does not seep into the ground. The amount of water that can seep into the ground from concrete is minimal. So when that happens, the water levels keep rising, and will most likely flood. Dumb question. Why is it concrete? Foolish decisions made by the engineering corps, like at a time when they thought that it would be better to, I guess, have some kind of like river going through the city. It is intentional, yes. Like they wanted to create a canal structure, I guess. Maybe we could see Oprah as a waterbender as well if she has properties in LA.
What is up? This is your LA in a minute. Today I want to talk about the Los Angeles River. Let's get into it. The LA River as we know it is a 51-mile concrete channel near its mouth in Bell Creek in Canoga Park to Long Beach, where it lets out into the Pacific Ocean. Historically, the river was the main water source for the native Tongvan people who would also fish and hunt mammals and birds along its banks. After the Spanish conquerors enslaved the native people, Juan Crespi renamed the river Rio Porciuncula. From that point forward until the opening of the LA Aqueduct in 1913, the LA River was the main water source for the people of Los Angeles. That said, the river was prone to major...
Yeah, it was for flood control. They didn't expect storms to get fucking worse and there'd be 5 million people. Yeah, but as far as I understand, the river... Okay. Yes, it's for flood control, except they still could have done flood control with a canal structure that also had a better... Like, they could have used a different... They could have used something not concrete that was more porous so they could actually have at least some of the water feed into the ground.
Flooding. I mean significant, catastrophic flooding. In the Los Angeles flood of 1938, the river overran its banks and killed more than 100 people. A huge infrastructure followed, and the Army Corps of Engineers paved over the river and built it into a huge concrete channel. This concrete channel that I knew as the Wash growing up. Though rainwater and snowmelt are the primary source of water for the wildlife that congregate in the river, it's highly polluted as the water is mostly runoff from the 800,000 San Fernando Valley homes. The San Fernando Valley is where you'll find the Sepulveda Dam and the Sepulveda Basin, a flood control channel to manage floodwater runoff. In June of this...
There's also that shit that they could have had key points with trees and greenery and dirt to absorb the water. Exactly.
This year, the LA County Board of Supervisors voted to approve a new master plan for revitalization of the river. So the revitalization of the LA River is already well underway in certain parts, and soon, hopefully, it'll reach the entire length of this magnificent Los Angeles waterway.
This is what they do in Tokyo. Japan's underground temple protecting Tokyo from floods. It funnels away and redirects excess water from storms and typhoons.
Tatekoのサイズはですね、直径30メートル、深さにして70メートルぐらいあります。施設としてはスペースシャトルとかですね、自由の女神がこの中にすっぽり入るぐらいのサイズをイメージしていただければいいかと思います。
I mean, too much money, man. Too much money. Completed in 2006, the chamber cost at least 230 billion yen, $2.2 billion to build. The facility swings into action around 7 times a year. For them, though, this makes sense, okay? This does make sense. Why? Because it's a fucking island. Do you see what I'm saying? California, you think about it, you're like, well, it's a desert near the water, right? So no one in California is like, oh, shit, we should have built infrastructure that could withstand more flooding. Because the reality is that they thought that water levels or the amount of rainfall would be manageable. The amount of ice melting from the top of mountains would be manageable.
の施設ができる前の時に降っていた大きい雨の時と、この施設ができた後にできた同規模の雨が降った、事例があるんですけども、その時でですね、地域の浸水被害の被害の顔。
Last year you complained about drought, here's your water, and now you complain about that, pick a lane. No, that's, first of all, I've been talking about this for a minute now. It wasn't last year that people were complaining about the drought. California has had drought issues regardless, because once again, I know that person is joking, but I need you to understand something. The problem here is that water is not even going into the ground anyway. So it doesn't even fucking matter. It's not usable. So the floodplains are actually not helping combat the drought in general. The only thing that helps combat the drought is actually ice melt. Like that, those floodplains in Los Angeles are not creating an environment that is absorbing water. The ground is not capable of absorbing enough water in general. It has to take a much longer time.
浸水被害した家屋が10分の1ぐらいまでですね、低減できたという実証はあります。
It doesn't replenish the aquifers? Well, the only thing that replenishes the aquifers, which has, for California, has been ice melt. Like, snowy conditions and like mountainous regions getting more rainfall and having more ice. Like, that is what has been... That is what has been actually snow melt and ice melt. Well, not ice, but snow melt has been replenishing aquifers, not the rainfall. I like that these motherfuckers were like, yeah, climate change is real. Seems like a problem. Seems like it's going to increase the size, frequency of rainfall, right? Seems like it's going to be an issue for our citizens. Might as well do something about it. And that's precisely what they fucking did. That's what they did. If global warming's real, why am I cold, brother? Cold world, baby. You sound potentially a dumbass, but couldn't we civil engineer our way out of this? Yes, you could. I think you could potentially make, like, substitute the concrete for more porous material. You could also create greenery and try to add vegetation to certain areas so that it sucks up even more of the water and utilizes it alongside the river basin. It's, you know, these are necessary things that you could do, which we should do, except we're not going to do it because costly. I suspect it would the infrastructure building would be fought tooth and nail by homeowners, developers, real estate developers, associations that that are just a collection of fucking NIMBYs that have a complete stranglehold on Los Angeles development or California development in general. The issue with doing that is that it can destabilize the underground foundations in areas with a lot of rainfall, but I guess we'll see how LA and Southern California handles it going forward.
と言われるいわゆるノンストラクチャラルメソッドっていうのが、要は、 もので、しない。まあ、例えば避難を迅速にすることであったり、まあアウェアネスを高めると、ハザードマップでしっかりと自分がどれぐらいのリスクにあるのかということを、あらかじめ知っておくというような対策っていうのは非常に効果的だと思います。
I swear to God, that looks like where they had that Jujutsu Kaisen battle in last season with like the three brothers. And then like one of the fucking demons is like jumps on the pickup truck on the side of the road. You know what I'm talking about? It straight up looks like that.